Okay, so the knees are bending enough to allow the heels to come off the ground. Now, as I lift my heel off the ground even more and go to the toenail, you can see that my inside here, the heel is not touching anymore. It's kind of like the ankles are touching. So it's just like my ankle bones here are going to touch. And that's going to allow me to rotate the maximum, still keep my feet turned out, but allow my knee to move forward, allow my hip to rotate backward, and allow my heel to come up off the ground as much as possible. Okay? Now, when I just change in place, I probably won't get all the way to the toenail. I'll probably be on the inside edge of the big toe or of the inside edge of the ball of my foot, depending on how flexible you are in your feet and how much pressure you can put into your toes at this point. So the more I lift up my heel, you can see my ankles are touching, okay? And I want to be able to shift and do the hip action without it having to kind of have to adjust my toes every time. So I want my feet to stay. You can see my toes are staying turned out. My feet are not, what they're not doing is I'm not kind of swiveling my feet, okay? So if I'm doing the hip action and my feet are changing, then I probably am not doing something right. So the knees maybe aren't going forward, or the hips aren't kind of beveling in, right? So if I'm turning the feet, then something is going wrong. So you have to be honest with yourself and see if your feet are changing. They should not be changing. You should be able to switch the hips all the way with your feet staying turned out at about 10 and 2. Okay? So if they have to shift, then either your hips going back too far or your knees coming across, something weird is happening. You should be able to line up the knee forward, toes turned out, hips rotated, with the feet staying in that position. Okay? All right.